Champion for Change. We on the move on 25th Street.
We are on 125th Street.
Folllow. Talk to some at-risk youth.
That's right. We're doing everything that we got to do to prevent our youth from falling victim to all the traps out here. Damn, I'm really enjoying my freedom. That's why when I speak to them young guys and girls, I need them to know how important freedom really is. You know? It ain't nothing in this world more beautiful than freedom.
That's right. My name is Coach Coco, but I'm also known as Mac Mama. I would like now to introduce you to my husband, the love of my life. I would just say King Tut.
Sometimes in our minds, like when they say you're a product of your environment, it's not just the things that you look at and that you see, but sometimes it's the things that you do when nobody else is watching. You know, I remember being bad in class, not knowing that me being disrespectful in class was going to lead to me being disrespectful to authority. It was going to lead to me being disrespectful to law enforcement. And as time moved on and I started to progress in the streets, I met a lot of colorful characters. And these guys took shortcuts. The guys that I knew and was attracted to, for some strange reason, they always knew what to wear, they always knew what to say, they always got all the things they wanted. But they didn't work for those things. They knew how to take shortcuts. And I would watch it and I would admire them. And I would look up to these guys. And I wanted to be one of these guys. I wanted to be a guy with a name. I wanted to be a guy that people respected, and I also wanted to be a person that people feared. But as time went on, I started to do the things that they did. Like I said, I live by the gun. But it don't matter what you live by, whether you live by the drug game, whether you live by the fraud game, no matter what game you're involved in, you're going to be like a snowball rolling down a hill of snow. And it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where one day you're going to be so deep into a situation that you're in that you won't be able to do anything about it. And I remember getting in trouble in the 70s and judges tapped me on the hand because I knew how to go into the courtroom. And I had a father who fought in 2 wars. And I had a mother who was a church woman. And I was a pretty nice kid. So they always felt that maybe this kid right here, he has some potential. This kid right here, he got support. Because even though I was a bad kid in school, I had teachers who liked me. I had people in my community who liked me and encouraged me and wanted me to do things. But you know what? I wanted to take shortcuts. And I continued to take shortcuts. Now, when we speak about me coming home after doing 28 years, I did 2 state bids before that, as well as laid up on Rikers Island for other crimes. And I say that to say, today, after doing all that time, I overturned, praise be to God, 5 life sentences. I had 5 life sentences, and they were consecutive, which means that they weren't all running concurrent. So if I turned over 1, if I turned over 2, if I turned over 4, I'm still stuck. A judge gave me 5 life sentences, but he didn't give me 5 life sentences because he felt that I was a good guy. He didn't give me 5 life sentences just to make an example. He gave me 5 life sentences because he thought I was a monster. And one of the craziest things about my situation was that at that time I was incarcerated for a case that I actually didn't commit. But historically, I was the guy that mainly committed the crimes. So I built up a reputation, and I was known in my precinct and other precincts, and I was a very disrespectful individual. And you know, like you do dirt, that's what you get. So as time went on, I'll never forget it. When I was arrested for that case, I felt that it was like a case that I could beat. Because I said, man, they got me for something I didn't do. But I didn't know that they wanted me for some other things. And in wanting you for other things, they will get you by any means necessary. That's why a lot of times you guys might be out in the streets hanging out. And you might feel, nah, this is my homeboy, he's my boy, my friend. I'm gonna just walk to the store with him. A young lady might feel like, nah, he's a cool guy, he's a gangster, but I date him, but it ain't nothing. Let me explain something to you. If you're a young lady in the game, with a man who's in the game, you in the game.
That's it.
There's no doubt about it. He gonna put that gun in your hand. He gonna put the drugs in your hand. He's gonna tell you to lie for him. He'll get you to do anything he has to do in order to accomplish whatever he's trying to accomplish or to get away with whatever he's trying to get away with when it comes to the law. My wife, she can verify that.
Yeah, he almost got me to do some craziness, but he was testing me. Thank God.
But what I'm saying is that you only got one life to live. And how old are you?
20, 23, 25.
How old are you? I'm 61 years old. Do any of y'all want to be my age? Talking to people your age at 61 when you could be doing it right now? See, the change starts right now.
Absolutely.
If you're going to get your life together, you can't say, you know what, I'm 24, when I get 25, I'm going to get it together. The moment you think it and the moment you say it is the moment you got to start doing it. Time don't wait for nobody. And all of us are special. I know a lot of y'all are products of your environment. Some people came up in some terrible households. Some people had some bad experiences. And a lot of us carry pain. I know when I was growing up, for me to say I needed help made me feel like I was weak. For me to say I needed help made me feel like I was a coward. Not because I felt that way, but because other people told me that. So when I was growing up, a lot of times I could have went to somebody and said, you know what, I got a problem. Would you help me? And I probably could have got the help. But instead of me asking for help, I allowed my ego to make me believe that I was something that I wasn't. And one of the things that I did is that I hurt myself. I hurt my family. I hurt my community. And I hurt my future because I didn't want to do what had to be done at that moment. Now is the time for you to get your life together. If you got friends that don't want to get their lives together, you got to remember something. Life is all about choices. It's all about choices and decisions. The choice and decision you make in the street can and will cost you your life. Every time I went out in that street, armed up, ready to do crimes, hanging out with people doing crime, wanting to be involved. I don't care if you think you just a lookout. You all the way down because you've seen too much. And one of the things that hurt me today more than anything is that many of us think that it's easier to pick up a gun, to pick up drugs, to hurt somebody than to pick up a pen and a piece of paper. That it's easier to go out to a gang fight than it is to school and develop yourself. Education is one of the most valuable things you can ever have. Because once you get education, nobody can take it from you. See, when you go to prison, you know what they do? They take all the worst guys or girls for every block, from every state, depending on if you're in the feds or local or the state, and they put you together. And you have to fight for any and everything that you want in this world and in this life. When I went to prison, my philosophy was, I'm a gangster. I'm gonna be a gangster till the day I die. But I'll never forget when I got them 5 life sentences. I asked myself, what did you do to yourself? And I always ask myself, what would you do today if you could correct what happened? And you know what? It would have been choices, decisions, and more than everything, your reputation. Because people are going to judge you by your reputation. And your reputation is the things you say, the things you do, the people that you hang out with, the way you operate. And don't get me wrong, I know that there are some bad guys who mean well. But until they start doing what's best for themselves, for their families, for the community, and for their future, you need not be a part of that. Because right now, you are in the best years of your life. See, I'm 61, and I'm making a life. And I thank God that I had a wife that understood how life worked. A wife who will come to prison and educate me on what's going on in the world. A woman who prepared me for the world. Because there was a point in my life when I said, I'm leaving prison with a toe tag. I'm never going home. This is what it is. This is who I am. And I don't have anything in this world to look forward to. But you know what? There's a whole lot to look forward to. And it came a point in my life while I was in prison, I said, you know what? I associate with a lot of the people who don't care about life and who actually gave up on life. They're hopeless. But then there was other people that was in prison that although the paperwork said that they might not have never was going to go home, but guess what happened? They act like they were going home each and every day. These guys did programs. They were respectful towards other human beings. They helped people, whether it was with their GED, whether a person had a family problem, whether somebody was dealing with something at home, whatever it was, they didn't allow prison to put a limitation on their ability to do right. They understood that prison was a community. And in a community, you have to make a choice. And those guys, they chose to do the right thing in prison. Now, y'all guys, y'all not in prison yet, and I pray to God y'all don't have to go to prison. But understand something. Like John said, there's beds that are waiting for y'all. They moving a lot of people out the country. And they're gonna have open beds. And a lot of you guys might not have been under surveillance or under scrutiny for crimes. But guess what? Now that a lot of people are leaving, that leaves a space for other people to come to prison. If you're associating with the wrong people, they're gonna sweep. And you're gonna get caught up in that sweep. That's just how it is. Don't allow yourself to be the next man or woman check. Because your body is going to get somebody a house in prison. Your body is going to send somebody else's children through college. If anybody going to make money off of your body, it's going to be you. But there's a right way and a wrong way to make money. And I'm going to tell you, if you take the shortcuts, like the guys that I idolized and I emulated, believe me when I tell you, it's not going to last long. You might get what you want, monetary and material things that give you temporary pleasure, but at the end of the day, when you laying up in the cell, you're going to hurt. You're going to realize that you wasted your life, that you wasted time, that all the people in this world that really cared about you, you kicked to the curb. And the people that didn't care nothing about you are going to be 9 out of 10 a lot of the guys that you believe are your buddies in the street. I'm asking y'all to have some loyalty for yourselves, to understand that you more than just a person from Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens, the Bronx. You a human being. Every single day, you carry the most powerful computer in the world right on top of your shoulders, your brain. But guess what? We rarely use it. I'm encouraging and challenging y'all to use your brain. The same way I had to fight to get the life sentences off of me, I want you to fight to never have to go to prison. I want you to know that, yo, you better than jail. You better than the stigmas that they're giving. You better than the gang lifestyle. You better than all that. And you bigger than all that. Understand that you're young right now. And when you're young, you think young. But in time, and time moves fast. 5 years from today, you're not going to think the same way you're thinking right now. You're going to have a lot of regrets. If you're going to have some regrets, make them minimal regrets. Don't make them regrets that cause you to lose a limb. That cause you to put somebody else that you love life in jeopardy and you lose that person. Mistakes that cause you to have a life sentence or 25 years or even 5 years. Remember something, you could never get time back. So one day in prison is too much time.
That's the truth.
It's too much time. And one of the things that hurted me the most, you know, me and my wife, we had a conversation this morning. And she said to me that she had self-love. And that's why she looked at life in a certain way. And we were speaking about in the past, but I told her that I didn't have self-love. And the reason why I didn't have self-love is because when I was in my community, pillaging and doing negativity, the people that I targeted looked just like me. And it's impossible for me to love myself if I'm trying to harm and rob and destroy the people that look like me. And you know, I had to thank her for helping me understand what self-love is and for helping me to love myself, because it helped me love y'all. And it make me want to see y'all do so much better. Don't put no limitation on yourself. When people tell you you can't do something, prove them wrong. And let me tell you something, even with crime, a lot of times in my mind, it's hard for you to just get it right. Because change is not an easy thing, especially after you've been doing negative things for a long period of time. But just become inactive. Sometimes doing nothing is a lot. Sometimes doing nothing means a lot. You know, and I realized that if I was to come home from prison and I just didn't do no crime, I didn't encourage anyone to do crime. And when someone spoke to me about crime, I let them know I'm not living like that and I'm not about that, because I'm bigger and I'm better than that, and so are they. That right there could prevent a lot of crimes from happening.
Bebo!